Hello, Julie. I hope you are well. Um, Please excuse my voice. I am a little bit under the weather, but nonetheless, I'm here giving you feedback, and good thing I can do this from the comfort of my bed. So, I only have really two major comments to make about your learning outcomes and essential question. First of all, I just want to say congratulations for getting this position, and it hits right at home for me because I actually did my student teaching in a dual language classroom. The target language was Spanish, and it was here in the United States. And similar to this, they were learning content through Spanish, and likewise, they were learning the language of Spanish at the same time. So. So this really is something I'm passionate about, is the language immersion part of it. So as far as the learning outcomes, I think they are very thorough, which I like. I know exactly what the students need to know by the end of it, by the end of that particular lesson or perhaps unit. One thing I will say though is if your students are learning English, these these learning outcomes might be a little bit out of their range, I would say. If they're beginners, they might need language that you have previously taught in the class, or I don't know if you were thinking about explaining these in more common language to them. But to me, learning outcomes, the student should be able to understand them more so. The student needs to be able to understand it than anyone, just walking by the classroom or happens upon them. For me, like I said, they're very thorough, and I know exactly what you want the students to do, but I just want to make sure that the students also know what they have to do, and based on them learning English, this language might be a little bit too advanced for them at this point. So that's one of my comments. The other comment is perhaps to get to the highest level, which is creating. You could have a learning outcome that asks them to create some sort of dialogue between two people, or perhaps uh, you or and them, a dialogue. Um, that could be a learning outcome to fulfill that highest level of blooms. Essential questions. Now, I'm not the strongest at essential questions, so take this advice for with a grain of salt. But I think that's the expression at least. Um, But what I know of learning outcome or essential questions is that there's no definite answer. For example, it's not a yes or no, or it's not a recite this answer. To me, it's a question that evokes a discussion and perhaps even more questioning. And these questions right here, I feel like there is a specific answer that you're looking for. Maybe like an overarching at the end of the unit, you should be able to recall this, or you should tell me what do you see. And there's obviously correct answers to this. Um, an example I could say is it in this course, they're tricky, but maybe you can say um, an essential question would be like, um, what part of the English language is the hardest to like in acquisition? Because that right there has them reflect on their learning of the English language thus far, but it's not a definite answer. Like not, one student is not going to have the same answer as another student, and you want essential questions to be able to be reflective. That might not be the best example. Again, this is a tricky one since your situation and the context that you are doing. Um, but yeah, I really like these learning outcomes, um, and I feel like again, they are very specific. Just put them into a language that maybe a beginning student in English will be able to understand. But good job, Julie.